Welcome back to another short video. This will be about my personal advice on the placement season that is going to be happening soon. So I thought of sharing some resources as well as some advice based on my preparation that I did last year for placements. So the 6 main key tests that you have to go through will be the resume shortlisting phase, then the online assessment for coding. Depending on companies, they may ask different types of questions. We'll go over each of them one by one and deep dive what they are going to ask us in each round. Then you may have up to 2 technical rounds. They will be focused on coding and computer science fundamentals. After that, this is an optional depending on the company that is taking this interview. There may or may not be this round, but I considered this considering all the companies that probably are going to visit your campus, and you are probably going to give this interview at least once. Next one is the non-technical HR and behavioral round, which is going to make the interviewer know about your personality and a little bit about your communication skills and some non-technical jargon. So let's look at the resume phase. Resume may or may not matter because most of the companies have the first round itself as a coding round. So this phase may or may not occur, but it is always better to keep your resume one page and only keep relevant stuff. Don't even put high school education and irrelevant internships or irrelevant hobbies and interests. Keep it tailored to the domain of the job, and don't lie on your resume on know all the points that you have mentioned so that you can talk about those freely and whatever is asked about it. Next is the most important, which is the online assessment test. So this test is going to have the most competition because it will probably be open to all. So if your campus has 1,000 students, all of them are going to give this test, or all the people who are going to appear for that particular company are going to give this test, and eventually the company can only limit their interviews up to, let's say, 30 interviews. So the competition is very high, and probability to get shortlisted majorly lies on this clearance of this assessment. So if 1,000 people are going to appear and they're only going to shortlist 30 people for the interviews, then you must be very well prepared to be among the top 30 for this test. And most of these rounds are eliminatory, so it's better to go by this approach for preparation as well. Let's see what they ask. Coding assessment, mostly they will be asking data structures and algorithms questions, and optionally there may be some MCQs based on computer science fundamentals on subjects like databases, operating systems, computer networks, and object-oriented programming. Major weightage will be on data structures and algorithms. So the major resource you can prepare for this one will be LeetCode. The problem will be mostly based on dynamic programming, graph trees, and binary search, and some easy topics that I haven't considered here because everyone knows about them, and the deciding factors majorly lie by the topics, DP graphs and trees. So whoever knows these topics, he has an edge because he can solve one more question than the others and has a high chance of getting shortlisted. And these are the subjects that the MCQs may be based on. So yeah, the major description of this round will be solving 3 or 4 data structures and algorithms questions similar to LeetCode pattern. So to get better at this round, all you have to do is practice those questions, similar patterns, and the best resource could be solving hard or medium questions, or the questions that you find difficult to solve within 15 to 20 minutes. It can be a good starting point, and after that gradually increasing the difficulty level as you feel more comfortable with the question level. So you can simply go to the problem set page and start by solving the questions one by one and check what is the level that you're currently at, and you can improve accordingly. Next one is so practicing is one thing and giving timed contest is another. So it's always better to give this mock test so that you actually know what is the environment like in a real test. So whenever you're practicing, you are like in a comfort zone and you can solve the problem in 1 or 2 hours, but in the test you are expected to solve the problems in 60 minutes. So it's this practicing virtually for the contests is going to teach you how to write code fast, efficient, and also going to teach you how to debug your code faster in case of some errors that may be occurring in your solution. Another resource for practicing or giving mock test is HackerEarth mock assessment section. So here they have listed some company-wise and topic-wise assessment tests, and each of them have different durations, difficulty levels, and time bounds. So you can go ahead and after you have prepared well, you can try these assessments and check your performance and judge your preparation accordingly. And you can also learn what all topics you don't know already. So there's 3 resources for the first round are more than enough, as long as you're going to solve sufficiently large problems on each of the topics that I mentioned here. And you need to be very comfortable in solving the problems related to dynamic programming, graphs, trees, and binary search. So this is the most important round. As I told, the highest competition will be in this round only. After that, you are going to have two technical rounds. They will be also focused on data structures, and a part of which can also include theory question answers on CS fundamentals. So this will be a little easier round because it is more of an explanatory round than fast coding and getting to the solution as quick as possible. No, that is not the case in this. You can be slow, but you need to explain your approach to the interviewer so that he knows you actually know how to explain things and share your knowledge accordingly. So this interview is going to consist of one easy and two medium or one hard lead code type problems, and some CS fundamental theory questions. So they're going to check your knowledge, asking some theory questions based on the computer science subjects that you have studied. For this round, it is my advice would be to prepare according to the company, because certain companies ask certain similar questions, and it's better to prepare because usually you are going to have some buffer time to prepare. So whenever companies you're going to give an interview, you may already know that I have one day left for that, and you can go over the previous interview experiences for that particular round, and that is easily available on Geeks for Geeks, for example. So you have this company interview corner page. On that, you have a list of the companies and the recruitment process is mentioned, interview preparation, as well as company specific interview experiences as well. So if you click on Adobe, you're going to have all the interview experiences for Adobe. So people have posted their interview experiences. So this was an on-campus interview at Adobe, and they have mentioned all the details of what was asked in round 1, round 2, and so on. You can go through this accordingly, depending on the company that you're going to interview for. Next one is the interview experience section on LeetCode Discuss. So here also you have pretty latest interview experiences. This may not be the latest ones. So this is a very active forum, and you can see there are some updates on the interview experiences 13 minutes ago at the time that I took the screenshot. So this is also good resource. You can go through this as well. There is one more resource. So we have the discuss section. In the top we have multiple tabs. So some places they have also people also share the compensation for the interviews they give, their interview experiences, some specific interview questions. Some people might ask for doubts here as well, so you may look out here as well. You can also explore the other domains. So one for CS fundamentals, I created some notes last year during my preparation. So I will be linking this in the comment or description box. So I basically collected some resumes, some documents that I found online in various websites and forums, as well as some documents related to companies visiting IITs, then the experiences for some of my friends that they shared, and this contains the PDF and important topics questions on CS fundamentals. So 4 subjects has some folders for each subject, and there are multiple PDFs. So I've only listed down the interview question and answer type sheets so that it is better for revision and completing large portion of topics in small amount of time. So that was the goal of creating this resource last year. And you can also go through whichever topic you feel less confident in. You can go to Geeks for Geeks and only study the things that are specifically asked for interview, because there is no point in going and reading the entire textbook if it is not going to be asked, or the probability is too less to get a random difficult question. So for CS fundamentals, I suggest that you only go through the important questions that are asked in the previous interviews, or some important questions that are available online that will cover the CS fundamentals part. Next up, we have the optional system design or project round. For this, you will mostly be asked about your projects in your resume, or a simple system design interview question. So this question will be similar to designing some existing application like Facebook chat application, or Instagram feed, or Google Maps, or Google Drive, or file systems, and similar. So you need to discuss different approaches to build such a system with predefined components. So for this, you can go through the system design interview books. This contains interview questions as well as some theory, and it is explained in extremely good way that you can use as it is. The explanation you can use as it is in an interview as well. So you can go through these 2 resources for system design. Next is the behavioral round. This for this you need to be confident about your communication skills, and you can prepare for some questions which you can go through some online websites. So this question may be pretty repetitive, and you can prepare answers for this before the interview as well, because opinionated questions are usually difficult to answer within the time frame, because you need to think what is your opinion and take on a certain topic. So it's better to go through 50 or 60 HR related questions, prepare your answer or at least think about it, and that will be good enough for this round. Prepare for this round as well, because many times a small here and there people usually get rejected because of that, because HR people are a little bit not specific. That was it about the resources. So it's better. So as we already know, there a lot of cheating happening in the placements as well as the overall scenario for any tests that happen in college or any campus. So just an advice that be true to yourself and don't cheat. Even if someone cheats the way through, they're eventually going to pay the price, because the work that they have ignored is going to eventually be asked in the future. So obviously you may not be fully prepared, but always keep improving by learning from your mistakes. Even if a interview you are not able to clear, you can ask for the feedback and work on it. It may give you a clear indication of what you're lagging in your preparation. So don't be afraid to fail or even give interviews, and also give mock interviews. That will clearly boost your confidence if you haven't given any interview before. And stop comparing with others, because each person has a different competition, and the road where he is currently now is completely different from yours. So always focus on preparation and not on others. And this is just the beginning of your journey into software engineering. So it is always better to be humble and realize that whatever you know is just a drop in the vast ocean of learning. That you always know that there is something bigger yet remaining to be learned or understood. So that was it. I will link all the resources in the description, and wish you all the best for the placement season this year. Thank you.